Here's why you should never walk into a new construction sales office alone. The person that's inside the model home might be helpful, but they do not represent you, and that one detail matters when you're looking to purchase a home. A lot of potential home buyers walk into the builder's office and they think it's just like a normal tour. You see the signs, you walk into the model home, you meet someone ultra friendly, you look at the floor plans, and suddenly it feels like you already have someone helping you through the purchase process. That's where the confusion begins. The builder representative works for the builder. Now I want to clarify, that does not make them a bad person. It doesn't mean they're trying to trick you. It just means that their job and their loyalty is to the builder. They're there to sell the builder's homes, explain the builder's options, and protect the builder's side of the transaction. Your agent has a different job, quite the opposite job, and your agent is there to represent your side. So if you're looking to purchase new construction on the northwest side of Houston, especially Tomball, Cypress, Hockley and Waller, or any of the surrounding growth areas, understand this before you walk into a sales office and sign anything. New construction can be a great opportunity, but it's not just picking a floor plan and some cabinet colors. There are also contracts, deposits, timelines, taxes, lender incentives, inspections, upgrade decisions, lot premiums, homeowners association details, and things that can affect the negotiations long after you walk out of the sales office. In this video, I'm going to explain what the builder rep does, what your agent does, and why having someone on your side matters. First, let's clear up the biggest misconception. The builder rep is not your enemy. As a matter of fact, most of the builder representatives that I work with, they're professional, they're knowledgeable, and they're helpful. They know the community, they can explain the floor plans, they can explain the current pricing, their inventory, the estimated completion dates, design options, and different builder incentives and promotions that are currently happening. That information is useful, but their responsibility is still to the company that's building and selling the homes. When they explain incentives, contracts, pricing, or available options, they're doing that from the builder's perspective of that transaction. Your agent looks at the deal from your side. That difference matters because buying a home is not just about whether the home actually looks good and feels good, but the bigger question is whether the deal works for you or not. Does the payment still make sense after we talk about taxes and insurance and homeowners association fees, possible municipal utility districts, and are the incentives actually helping your situation, or do they just sound really good while we're at the sales office? Does the timeline fit your lease, your job, your savings, and does it match your comfort level? Home buyers are not expected to know all of this stuff already. That's the whole point of having a guide on your side. The model home experience is designed to feel easy. You walk into a finished house with great lighting, clean furniture, nice flooring, a staged kitchen, and a layout that feels better than anything you've seen online. The neighborhood map is ready, the pricing sheet is printed out, and the incentives are easy to talk about because they're exciting. It all feels organized because it's supposed to. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. A model home is a sales environment and builders are trying to sell their product. As the buyer, your job is to stay clear enough to separate the feeling from the facts. And that's going to start with the price. As you're driving up, a sign might say homes start in the low 300s, but the home you're standing in may not be anywhere close to that number. Once we consider upgrades, lot premium, elevation, structural options, and community costs that are factored in, model homes often include features that are not part of the base price. That may include upgraded flooring, premium countertops, higher-end cabinets, nicer fixtures, added lighting, covered patios, extra design details, and sometimes entire different layout options that cost more. The builder's not wrong for showing you the home that way. You just need to know what you're actually buying. A buyer's agent helps you connect the pretty version of this home that's right in front of you versus the real numbers behind it. That means figuring out what's included, which upgrades cost more, whether the listed price matches the version of the home that you like, and how much the payment changes once the real costs are included. That's not negative. It's just how you avoid falling in love with something that you looked at and it looked affordable only because you were looking at the price outside versus the version inside. Incentives create another layer of confusion. Builder incentives can be extremely helpful, especially for first-time buyers. You may see closing cost assistance, rate buydowns, flex cash, upgrade credits, appliance packages, or special pricing on certain inventory homes. Those incentives can make a real difference. They can lower the amount of money that you need upfront, they can help your monthly payment, or make certain upgrades more realistic. The problem is not the incentive itself. The problem is us assuming that the incentive tells the entire story. A large credit can still come with a higher purchase price, higher taxes, a less competitive lender structure, or a payment that doesn't even fit your budget. A smaller incentive may actually work better for you if the home has a better location, lower monthly costs, or a stronger long-term fit. Your agent can help you compare the deal instead of reacting to the promotion. Maybe the builder's preferred lender is genuinely the best option, but maybe another lender deserves a look. The right answer depends on the rate, the fees, the credits, the cash needed to close, monthly payment of course, and how long you even decide to stay in the home. For a first-time home buyer, especially a younger first-time home buyer, that clarity really matters. You may be dealing with rent, car payments, student loans, rising insurance costs, and the pressure of trying to save for your new home. When the numbers already feel tight, you cannot afford to make a decision based on the incentives that are being advertised. You need to know the real payment. You need to know the numbers. You need to understand the cash to close. The loan terms need to make sense beyond the flyer. That's where representation matters. Contracts are another major reason why I never suggest that anyone goes into a new home construction office alone. A lot of buyers assume that every time they purchase a home, we use the same exact contract. But new construction doesn't always work that way, and as a matter of fact, it hardly ever does. Most builders use their own contracts, and those contracts may have different timelines. They might have different deposits, different rules for cancellation, if you can even cancel. They might have different inspection procedures, financing deadlines, and expectations than your typical resale contract. Now, don't worry, that doesn't make this a bad contract, but it does mean that you should understand what you're getting into prior to putting your name on it and signing on the dotted line. Once the contract is signed, it might be really hard to back out, and it may be impossible. Deposits could be at risk. Deadlines can be really strict, and changes may be very limited. The builder may have a process that feels very different from purchasing a resale home. Your agent can help slow that part down and relieve some of the stress and anxiety that you may feel. They can explain the practical pieces of the process and point out areas where you may need more clarification. They'll help you to know when you need to ask a question to the builder or to a lender or title company or even a real estate attorney. Your agent is not a real estate attorney, so when it comes to legal advice, you should always seek that from an attorney. Remember, you should never be signing documents while you're confused or you just don't know what's supposed to happen next. The timelines are an entirely different piece that buyers often underestimate. New construction dates can be subject to change. A home that's to be built may have an estimated completion date, but that depends on the weather and labor, materials, permitting, inspections, and construction issues that can actually set this stuff back. If you're renting right now, that really makes a big difference. Your lease end date may not line up perfectly with your home's completion date. If you lock a rate too early or too late, the financing timeline can create stress. A delay may force you to make temporary housing plans, extend a lease, or just adjust your move-in date expectations. Most buyers are not thinking about that while they're walking through a model home. You're looking at things and you're imagining yourself in the home. You're looking at the kitchen, the yard, the layout, and the idea of what makes this home perfect for you. Those things matter, but the timeline can create problems if nobody talks you through that early. A buyer's agent can help you to ask about completion estimates, rate lock timing, lease planning, builder communication, and what actually happens if the schedule does change? Upgrade decisions. Upgrade decisions can also get expensive way faster than most buyers actually think about. New construction makes it easy to imagine the perfect vision of your home. You start with a floor plan and that fits your budget, but then the design choices begin. The upgraded floors look better. The nicer counters make the kitchen feel finished perfectly. The cabinet color in the model is the one that you really want. A covered back patio almost feels necessary in Texas. Better lighting sounds small until you start to add everything up. Suddenly, the home that you thought you were buying moves you into a different price range that actually might require you to move into a different tax bracket. Upgrades are not bad. Some are worth serious consideration. The key is knowing what matters most before you're sitting in the design center and making decisions based on emotions. Structural options, layout changes, extra rooms, certain electrical changes, and covered patios may be harder and more expensive to add later. Cosmetic items like paint, light fixtures, cabinet hardware, and some finishes can often be changed after closing if the budget is tight. Your agent is not there to pick out finishes, but they are there to help you view the bigger picture of things. A beautiful home is great, but a beautiful home with payment that makes everything stressful every month is not. Our lot selection deserves some attention too. A floor plan can be perfect, but your lot still matters. The home might back up to something that you don't want to see every day. It may sit in front of a detention pond. The drainage is worth asking about with that in mind. Some lots carry a lot premium. Future developments around the community may affect traffic, privacy, noise, and long-term value. In growing parts of Northwest Houston, all of this matters and you want to pay close attention. The area around the home can change over time if future roads, commercial spaces, schools, new communities, or anything like that are planned nearby. You want to understand as much as you possibly can before buying, so ask those questions. A buyer's agent can help you look beyond the model home and off into the future just by asking the right questions. The community, commute, tax structure, homeowners association, surrounding development, amenities, and future resale potential all matter when you're choosing where you want to live. Then there are inspections. Some buyers hear new construction and just assume like, hey man, I don't need that. That's unnecessary. It's a brand new house. I would not make that assumption if I were you. New does not mean perfect. Remember, these homes are being built by people just like you and I, and people make mistakes. Things get missed. So get an inspection. An inspection is going to catch things like incomplete work or installation concerns, grading problems, mechanical problems, or even just cosmetic defects that the builder needs to address prior to you closing. The other thing is, depending on the stage of construction, you might want to consider a pre-drywall inspection so you can actually look at electrical, plumbing, and all that type of stuff. If the walls are already up, then you only have the opportunity for a final inspection. The builder might have quality control processes, but that's not the same as having someone on your side to inspect the home from your view. Your agent can help you understand when inspections usually happen, how the builder handles correction requests, and what needs to be addressed before closing. Now, the goal is not to create problems and not to create drama. The goal is just to get as much information as we possibly can before the home becomes your problem. Financing needs the same exact kind of clarity. Builder-lender incentives can be valuable, but you still need to understand the full loan package. A builder may offer a credit if you use their lender. That might help towards closing costs or to lower your monthly payment, and it could be the best option available, but it still deserves review. Interest rates, lender fees, loan types, credits, cash to close, all of these things are important. And the builder's lender may come out ahead of everything, but you still want to get another lender to compare just to make sure you see everything clearly. The point isn't to reject the builder's lender. That's not what we're doing here. The point is to understand the entire package before you make a decision. You want to make sure that you can see on paper, black and white, A to B, which one is better. Not just trust that this boatload of money that looks like a boatload of money is actually the best deal. Your lender's going to explain financing, The inspector is going to explain the condition of the home. The title company handles title and closing, and your agent helps connect all of those pieces so that you're not making decisions in separate silos. Now, let's address the idea that walking in without an agent might save you money. Usually, buyers make this assumption and think it's correct. In many new construction situations, the builder pricing already accounts for an agent bringing the buyer. Showing up alone doesn't automatically mean you're gonna save money and get a better deal. Every builder can structure things differently, so details are important. But giving up representation should never be treated as a money-saving strategy unless you know exactly how the builder operates and it's definitely the truth. You may not be saving anything, and you're probably just entering the process with little to no knowledge and causing yourself a lot of potential headache without having advocacy on your side. For a first-time homebuyer, that's a huge disadvantage. Incentives, tax rates, builder contracts, inspection timing, upgrade decisions, lender credits, lot premiums, closing timelines, all of these things will affect your deal. If you've never bought before, you may not know which details matter, and even if you have, it may have been 10 years ago and you might not remember these details that your agent will. Having an agent on your side helps you avoid potential pitfalls. The point is not to reject the builder's lender. That's not what we're doing here. The point is to understand the whole package before you decide. A first-time buyer especially should not have to decode all of these things alone. If you want your agent involved, bring them in to your first appointment before you go meet a sales representative. If you walk in alone and register yourself without an agent, it can create issues later on. Some builders require your agent to be present from the beginning and register with you if you want them on your side. Others have specific policies about representation and how that is to be introduced. So, even if you're just thinking about new construction, talk to an agent before touring. You can still go look at homes, you can still enjoy the model, you can still ask questions. The difference is that your representation is connected with you from the start. Now, what should a good agent actually help with during the new construction process? It should help you to understand the full cost of the home, not just the base price. That includes payment, cash to close, lender terms, taxes, HOA dues, lot choice, inspection, timing, commute, and long-term resale considerations. When the process starts moving quickly, your agent should slow down the conversation enough for you to think clearly. That doesn't mean dragging things out. We just want to make sure that you have the time you need to understand everything practically. It means you're making decisions with real information instead of the sales pressure and excitement and emotions and the fear of missing out. You should never feel embarrassed about asking basic questions, and sometimes you just don't know the questions to ask, which is another reason your agent is there, to ask the right questions. Nobody is born knowing what earnest money means and municipal utility districts, which is a mud district, and mud taxes. Nobody knows these things from the jump. These aren't dinner table conversations. Builder contracts, appraisals, lender credits, title work, inspection timing are not things that first-time home buyers are supposed to understand. If you're Gen Z and looking at your first home, there already may be a ton running through your head. Income might feel like a big question. Credit can feel intimidating. The cash needed up front to purchase a home is not clear yet. A lot of younger buyers also worry that they're going to be unprepared when they talk to a builder, a lender, or an agent. That doesn't mean you're behind. It means you're learning a process that's brand new to you that most people were never even taught. The right agent should make the process feel clearer and less intimidating. They should help you to understand what matters, what can wait, and what needs real answers before you sign. Now, every buyer is different. Someone who has purchased multiple homes may be comfortable moving through this process faster. A buyer who works in construction, finance, lending, or any other type of real estate industry might already understand parts of this transaction that don't need to be explained in more depth. First-time home buyers usually need a lot more explanation about multiple different parts of this deal. That's not a weakness, it's normal. New construction has a lot of moving parts, and the sales office is only one piece of that process. The builder rep may help to understand the builder's homes, but your agent helps you to understand whether or not that home and that deal makes sense for you. Those roles are vastly different, and both can and should be part of your transaction. The best outcome is not a buyer fighting the builder. It's a buyer who understands the entire purchase process, respects the process, and gets to the closing table with confidence and comfortability. So, before you walk into a new construction sales office alone, pause for long enough to get representation lined up. Not because you should be scared of builders, not because builders are bad, but because you deserve to know who is sitting on your side of the table before you make one of the biggest purchases of your life. Again, a model home can make the process feel simple. A good incentive can make the deal feel urgent. And a friendly sales rep can make the whole thing feel really comfortable. Comfort is good, but representation is different. If you're looking at new construction in Northwest Houston, whether that's Cypress, Tomball, Hockley, Waller, or any one of those surrounding areas, make sure you understand the deal before the excitement carries the decision. That means that the price should match the version of the home that you actually want. The payment needs to work after taxes, insurance, HOA, and lender terms are included. Incentives should be reviewed for what they actually do, not just how good they sound. The contract inspection process, lot choice, upgrade decisions, and timelines all deserve attention prior to committing. And if you want help walking through the process, you can call me or email me anytime. My name's Cody Mier with the Cody Mier Realty team, and my goal is to help you feel confident before, during, and long after this transaction. Buying new construction should not feel like you're figuring it out alone in a sales office. It should feel like you have someone helping you to understand the deal from your side of the table.